Kamala Harris is a chameleon, and it's a big problem. Just like Kamala's policies and stance on issues, her identity is always in flux. It's always changing. Black, Indian, wealthy, poor. She'll put on whatever skin she thinks she needs for the situation that she's in. Over the weekend, Kamala posted on her Facebook page, "I grew up in a middle-class household. For most of my childhood, we were renters. My mother saved for well over a decade to buy a home. I was a teenager when the day finally came, and I can still remember how excited she was. In college, I worked at McDonald's to earn spending money." Notice that she was only working at McDonald's for spending money. She worked there for one summer. Reports say as few as 2 months or even less. Some of the people I worked with were raising families on that paycheck. They worked second or even third jobs to pay rent and buy food. That only gets harder when the cost of living goes up, which is thanks to the Democrats. When I am elected president, I will make it a top priority to bring down costs and increase economic security for all Americans. The picture she chose to use of her as a child shows them all in very well-designed, nice-looking clothing. Doesn't look very poor to me. Now, there are a lot of people that work in fast food to make ends meet, but true blue-collar workers in my mind are people out on the oil fields, farmers, electricians, plumbers, tradesmen. Even if Kamala worked at McDonald's, flipping burgers and dropping fries, it doesn't make her an everyman. It doesn't make her blue-collar. It doesn't really make her relatable in any way to the working class. Even before Kamala was born, her mother from India was joining a black student group. Now here's where Kamala became a chameleon. Her and her sister were raised largely by their mother, but saw their father on weekends. While growing up, Kamala Harris maintained close contact with her Indian family and frequently traveled with her mother and sister to Chennai, the capital of the South Indian state of Tamil Nadu. She studied political science and economics at Howard University, a historically black college. While there, she pledged into the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, one of the Divine Nine sororities and fraternities founded by black students. Kamala grew up engaged with her Indian heritage, joining her mother on visits to India, but Harris has said that her mother adopted Oakland's black culture and immersed Kamala and her younger sister Maya. "My mother understood very well that she's raising 2 black daughters," she wrote in her autobiography, The Truths We Hold. Raised by her Indian mother, saw her father on the weekends sparingly, yet she still has roots, deep roots in black culture. Growing up, Harris attended both a black Baptist church and a Hindu temple in homage to her biracial heritage. CNN is currently running a story, "Jamaica to the World, a small town on a small island celebrates Kamala Harris's meteoric rise." While at the same time, Kamala Harris's ancestral village in India cheers for daughter of this land.
Sir, do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always identified as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir.
With Trump, there is no identity crisis. He is who he says he is, and his life has been very public for the past couple of decades. You never really know where you land with Kamala Harris. Is she black one day? Is she Indian the other day? Is she a working class, blue collar American? Or was she a wealthy lawyer that grew up in the upper echelons of society? Across liberal news media, in Kamala's own autobiography, they always say born and raised in Oakland, California, which is patently false. She grew up in Berkeley. In fact, Harris attended Thousand Oaks Elementary School in Berkeley in the 1970s. How do we know? Because she attended kindergarten with San Francisco Board of Supervisors President and mayoral candidate Aaron Peskin. Her childhood home, located on Bancroft Way, is now the Berkeley International Montessori School. Harris and her family moved to Canada, where she attended Westmount High School in Montreal. I guess if she wanted to run for Canadian Prime Minister, she could do that too. So why does it matter that Kamala goes in between all of these worlds? Well, it matters because this directly affects her policy making and decision making in the Oval Office. From Harris, we see a lack of clarity. You saw in the presidential race, you've seen it in her as vice president. As the New York Times once put it, the content of her message remains a work in progress. While running the California Department of Justice, Harris was often loath to wade into the political battles taking place just a few blocks away in the state legislature. On the biggest criminal justice overhaul in California in a generation, Harris also kept mum. The idea that she would have consistent positions on issues informed by ideology isn't who she is. What some critics call prevarication or flip-floppery, her supporters call pragmatism. Those are two ways of describing the same quality, said Corey Cook, a political scientist and provost at St. Mary's College. Harris may appear to pick her battles, he said, because for her, the only lasting solutions are going to be the ones that are able to sustain a majority coalition of support. Something else liberal news media likes to skate over are the years that Kamala spent as the illegitimate lover of politician Willie Brown. It's said that Brown had a reputation for dating much younger women. In his column, King described Harris, then a deputy district attorney of Alameda County, as something new in Willie's love life. She's a woman, not a girl. The relationship ended after 2 years, but her connection to Brown, 3 decades her senior, did have an outsized effect on her career. I would think it's fair to say that most of the people in San Francisco met her through Willie. John Burton, who used to be president pro tem of the state Senate, former chair of the California Democratic Party, and a San Francisco political powerhouse in his own right, told Politico. The speaker gave Harris a couple plum positions on 2 state regulatory boards, the Unemployment Insurance Appeals Board and the California Medical Assistance Commission. If you were asked to be on a board that regulated medical care, would you say no? Harris told San Francisco Weekly a few years later. Harris's connection to Brown also helped her make connections across San Francisco high society and California political elite. In 1996, a year after Brown became mayor and Harris broke off their relationship, she joined the board of trustees at San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. When Harris ran for San Francisco District Attorney nearly a decade later, her first contribution came from Elaine McKinnon, chair of the museum's board. Ah yes, 2 months at McDonald's and 2 years in Willie Brown's hotel room. And wham bam, thank you ma'am, she has a political career. Hey guys, real quick, new anti-Kamala merchandise at conservativevibes.com. Hills up Harris, Kamala is like the border, always open. Stickers, t-shirts, and yard signs, all made in the USA. Pick them up at conservativevibes.com or click the link in the description down below. The comment section on this post are savvy to Kamala's chameleon ways. Careful, too many child pictures, they might find out you're Indian and not black. Then you won't be able to race bait for votes. Some people are delusional. Imagine going from McDonald's to the White House, such an inspiration to all people, but especially young women. Why not do this literally right now? You're in office at this very moment. The middle class is dying out here, having to give up on their small businesses and choosing to pay the groceries or the rent. Rent has gone up 2 years in a row. Grocery costs twice as much. Energy has went up. Gas has went up. The rest goes to healthcare. 3% raise over 2 years doesn't cover it. Have to work while fighting cancer just to have health insurance. There's no middle class, only the rich and the poor working class. Including her teen years in my city, Montreal, Canada. She's getting a lot of coverage in my town. Canadians for Kamala. Okay, so now it's India, Jamaica, and Canada. Now we just need America to get behind her. Look, I get it. They're trying to present Kamala as the everyman, as the working class person. That's the direct opposite of Trump, who was obviously born into a wealthy family, took a small business loan of $1 million, etc., etc. Problem is, this is coming off so disingenuous. She's had almost 4 years to enact these policies. Why would she just start now? She came up through the political ranks on her back with her heels up. Like Biden, she is a career politician, as likely to be trusted as much as a fart after Taco Bell. Is she black? Is she Indian? Is she Asian? Is she white? Was she upper class or raised poor? None of that matters, because the only thing that's for sure is that she will not be president 2024. I'm CV. This has been Conservative Vibes. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.